We all have priorities in life. What is your priority in your life? As believers in Jesus the Messiah, if we do not have a priority, we have no focus and no direction. Someone once said, if you plan to go nowhere, you will go nowhere. Paul in Romans 1:16 tells us what his priority was for his life in ministry. Be inspired by what we read here in Romans 1:16. Paul says this, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Messiah, for it's the power of God to everyone who believes, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek." Many times in the believing world or in the church, we see this verse on t-shirts, on plaques, and it says, "I'm not ashamed of the gospel. It's the power of God to salvation to everyone who believes." Period. Hard stop. But the verse doesn't end there. It goes on to say, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. What does Paul mean by to the Jew first? It means that it was his priority. It means that it was of first importance to him. How do I know that? Because we see that modeled in his life and in his ministry. In Acts chapter 17 and 18, as Paul began his missionary journey of sharing the gospel in the then known world, we see Paul set forth a pattern for his ministry. In Acts chapter 17, it says this, "Paul came to Thessalonica, where there was a synagogue of the Jews. Then Paul, as was his custom, went into the synagogue and for 3 Sabbaths reasoned with them from the scriptures, explaining and demonstrating that Messiah had to suffer, rise again from the dead, and saying, 'This Jesus, whom I preach to you, is the Messiah.'" As he continued on his missionary journey, we read in Acts chapter 18 this, "And he reasoned in the synagogues every Sabbath and persuaded both Jews and Greeks. When Silas and Timothy had come from Macedonia, Paul was compelled by the Spirit and testified to the Jews that Jesus is the Messiah." And finally, in Acts 18, verse 19, as Paul was finishing his missionary journey, it says, "And he came to Ephesus after leaving Macedonia and leaving Thessalonica, and he left them there, but he himself entered the synagogue and reasoned with the Jews." This is inspirational. This, to us in the church, is a model. Paul has put forth a model for us of a pattern and a priority for his ministry. How can you make Jewish evangelism a priority in your life? You can partner with God's heart by partnering with Life of Messiah as we share the gospel and share God's heart with the Jewish people.